Good morning. I'm Helen Harwood Snell, and I have with me today Diana Lidstone. And I am hosting the launch of Connect and Collaborate Ottawa Valley. Super excited about that. And the start of that is going to be a mini conference with three amazing speakers. Well, four, including myself.
Good.
So we're going to talk to you today a little bit on this live with one of our speakers, Diana Lidstone, as I introduced. We're going to talk a little bit about the event, the content that she's going to bring to that to help you get your autumn advantage for your business. So Diana's topic, I love this title. It is Entrepreneurs Who Earn 10 Times More Don't Work 10 Times Harder. So Diana, tell me a little bit about your connection, first of all, to the Ottawa Valley.
Okay, sure. Thanks, first of all, for having me on your live, we'll call it a podcast here. I'm all about connecting, and my connection to the Ottawa Valley is that I'd say about 10 years ago, we moved from the Montreal area to the how would I call it, Thousand Islands area, and
Okay.
then 2 years ago, we moved to a farm here in North Augusta. So we are right in the farming community. We have 20 acres, and I've been networking in the Ottawa area really for probably, well, more than 10 years, because even when I was in Montreal, it was a quick trip up the highway to Ottawa. And so I often did that. And I often hosted live events in Ottawa. So, Ottawa Valley, yeah, I think that, there are some rural communities that are not well served uh, for entrepreneurs to be able to connect, and
Yes.
especially, I hate to say it, but especially women entrepreneurs. So I'm all about let's get out there and connect.
Yes, no, I love that. And I agree with you. I've been in the Valley myself here now for 3 years and
Mhm.
been struggling to find places to connect. So I just decided to create my own. So that's what we're all about here is connecting, building relationships, and actually building up businesses in the Ottawa Valley, right?
Yeah.
It's a kind of like a whole day's trek to go all the way into Ottawa. And so I wanted to build something a little closer to home. And I love that you're, connected to the farming community there as well. 20 acres is a little bit of a dream for me. I'd love to have some property like that. But I do have my own vegetable garden in my backyard that keeps me busy and keeps me connected to the earth. I was hoping to actually do this outside today because it's such a beautiful fall day. And this is a fall event called Autumn Advantage, but my neighbor decided that they're going to start their roofing project today. So there's lots of hammer banging outside. So I'm in my office.
No.
So these are the things we do in business. We pivot all the time, right?
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about your strategy helping business owners and talk about this 10 times. I was going to say 10 times advantage. I'm going to say 10 times disadvantage, maybe that people get
Sure.
stuck in. Love to
Yeah.
hear more about that.
Well, first of all, I think I'll go back to something I heard, probably 15 years ago, was this concept of entrepreneurial poverty. And I
Mm,
went, really? And then the more I thought about it, so many entrepreneurs are time starved, energy starved, they're exhausted, they're heading to burnout. And some of them are financially starved, if we could say that.
mhm.
And so that became my mission. Everything that I do is to help entrepreneurs, you know, get more time, make more money, and feel more energized, more joy in their business. Because, hey, what the heck are you doing it if it's not bringing you fun, joy, impact, and those types of things? So, yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last number of years. But it has occurred to me, and more strongly, even so, in the last few years, that, and I will say mostly women entrepreneurs, but it happens to men as well, that they put their heart and their soul and everything they have. It could be their finances, it could be all their energy. They pour it into their business because they want freedom and flexibility. but pouring all of that into their business becomes habit. I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs I've met who said to me, Diana, I wish I had met you 5 years ago or even 10 years ago, because they have burnt out. Their marriages have dissolved because they're focusing only on their business, or they've gone bankrupt, or they feel guilty that they're not spending time with their family and friends.
Yep.
And so that's what I'm on a mission to fix, if you will, or
Yes.
contribute to fixing that.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that, just in terms of balance. I think
Mhm.
especially as women, although, this conference is for men and women as well.
Yes, that's
Um,
right.
but there's kind of a misconception that you cannot have balance. If you're in business for yourself, something's always going to be out of balance. And so I'd love to hear your take on that, because I feel like you go in and out of states of imbalance in
Yeah.
different areas. You can't all have everything balanced at the same time. So, as you mentioned, when you're starting your business, you
Mhm.
pour your heart and soul into it, maybe all of your time, maybe all of your money, but that can't sustain, right?
No.
As you
Yeah.
said, but you also can't think that if you're going to start your business and put all that into it, that then you can just take a 6 month trip and travel the world and your business is still going to be okay. So how do you actually talk to people about that balance, and what's really achievable and realistic in balance?
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head that, it's a bit of a juggling act. Sometimes you have balance, sometimes you don't. I think there is a difference, though, in the way that you build your business, and I call it a freedom first business model. So, for instance, I was chatting with a young woman the other day, and she said she wanted to build a business that she could travel with her family for 6 months or whatever it was.
Yeah.
However, she was building a business that was not portable in that sense. And I went, well, you could if you hire people to manage it while you are, traveling. But
Yep.
she was just starting out on her journey. And so that takes time to build. And she says, no, I want it now. And I said, well, if you want it now, then you have to build a different business model. And
Mm-hmm.
so a business model that, and you used a keyword that is sustainable. I also say that I use the KISS principle, but KISS has more S's in it than normal. So it has to be simple, it has to be strategic, it has to be sustainable, and then you want it to be sellable.
So that's, I was going to say kiss is,
Or
but it's even more.
yeah, yeah. So
It's
that's
like
a
it's like a snake's kiss.
yeah. So it's about that's a filter that I use, if you could say that, when I'm helping people build businesses. Keep it as simple as you can, simple, streamlined, whatever word you want to use. Keep it strategic so that you know exactly where you're going. Um, Sustainable so that you're not burning out.
Yes.
And sellable, because truthfully, when I started my coaching business, it never dawned on me to think that I could eventually sell this business. And yesterday I was speaking at a bookkeepers conference in Ottawa, and a lot of those bookkeepers, they didn't think about that either. But then they start thinking about it and they go, oh, yeah, okay, it could be like a retirement nest egg. And I go, yeah, exactly. But it has to be built in a certain way that somebody wants to buy it, as
Yes.
opposed to somebody buying a job, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
So tell us a little bit more. So you mentioned you were speaking at a bookkeepers conference yesterday.
yep.
Let's let the audience know where you've spoken before. I know that you've been nominated for some awards, so I'd love for you to brag a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I think my speaking started many years ago when I hired my very first coach for my coaching business. And at that time, she said, Diana, you have to do something different that other coaches aren't doing. And at the time, I was living in the West Island of Montreal. Montreal is traditionally French, Francophone, but the West Island traditionally English. And she said, nobody is doing conferences for women entrepreneurs. Why don't you host one? I went, okay, I'm a good student, whatever my, coach says I'm going to do. And so she said, okay, get out your calendar. I said, what do you mean? She said, get out your calendar. We're going to pick a date. And I went,
Oh my goodness.
oh yeah, but
That's a good coach.
yeah. And so that started my speaking. I had really never done any speaking before that, but over the course of the next 5 years, I hosted 15 live events like that for like 100 women entrepreneurs. And so then I became involved in the speaking community. There's something called CAPS, Canadian Association of Professional Speakers. I was their Ottawa president for a while. I've all on and off. I've hired amazing speaking coaches. What else did you say? Oh, yes, awards. I've had an award for a speaker. I have spoken at conferences anywhere from, they call it a master class of 5 to 500. So I was on
And
the
you also
stage.
host a podcast, correct?
I did host a podcast for a number of years. I've got a number, I don't know, I'll say 160 odd episodes there, which is content that people can, go back and listen to. I often send my clients or prospects to that for content. And last year, I felt really, really super honored to have been nominated as one of the 3 finalists for Woman Entrepreneur of the Year award by the Women's Network, what do they call it? Women's Business Network in Ottawa. So
No,
yeah, that was truly an amazing experience to be nominated, and yeah, so.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that. And
Thank you.
again, I just wanted to bring that out to the listening audience here to let you know the quality of speakers that we're going to be bringing to this launch event. Diana is, as I said, one of 4 speakers who all have great backgrounds that they're going to bring to this event. 5 intentional networking sessions throughout the day. If you haven't heard of speed networking before, you'll get a chance to see that. And, our speakers are going to cover, like Diana said, strategy about your business. We're also going to be having a speaker who's going to talk about reflection and actually thinking about what your business is all about. We're going to talk about marketing, and we're going to talk about communication. So we are got this well-rounded group of speakers that is going to be able to provide an advantage for your business this autumn. So whether it's closing out your year, whether it's strategizing for next year, and this deliberate networking component. So anything else, Diana, that you might want to add about what's exciting you about this event, or what your offer is going to be to the audience that attends?
Yeah, sure. There's a couple of things that came to mind. So, like I said, I was just at this conference for bookkeepers, and this morning I'm going through a pile of business cards. They were horrible. I would encourage people to really look and make sure you bring business cards or some facsimile thereof. But when a business card doesn't have an email or a phone number,
Oh boy.
why print it?
Yeah.
And I highly recommend business cards with your picture so that people can remember who you are.
Yes.
Because you get a business card. Oh, I should sort of cover this up. But anyway, I got a business card here that's, here's another one, no picture, no nothing. And I go, I don't remember that person. I met 75 people yesterday.
Yeah.
So really think about your business card. That's number 1. Number 2 is I'm going to have a free draw for Poppy and Peony's tote. And the tote is valued at about, I don't know, I'll say $130. Poppy and Peonies is a woman founded, Métis founded, Ontario woman founded, amazing online presence. And I know that the people who put their card in the draw were thrilled. They couldn't wait to see who was going to win it. And so that's one thing I will do. And I will also, of course, have a link to something that is downloadable for people to take away and move their business forward, because I'm all about practicality and taking action.
Amazing. Amazing. So yes, I'm excited about that Poppies and Peonies prize draw. And there will be other door prizes. There's going to be a little gift bag for all of the attendees. We do have spots for vendors. So if you're listening to this and you are in the Ottawa Valley and you would like to showcase your business, please get in touch. We'll talk with you more about that. Vendor tables are only $50 and it's only $20 for guests to attend. Wanted to make this, no barriers, low cost, stay for an hour, stay all day. There's lots of parking. As I said, we've got all of these speakers covering all of these different aspects of your business and intentional networking. So we're really hoping that this is going to be a great way to kick off this connect and collaborate networking that's going to be happening here in the Valley on a regular basis with people right in your backyard. So Diana, thank you so much for agreeing to be a speaker at the event and for doing this live with me today. I hope everybody has a great weekend and enjoys this beautiful fall weather. I'm going to be probably heading outside this afternoon because it's getting sunnier.
Yay!
Yes. So thank you again, Diana. Thank you for those listening. And if you want to get more information about this, there is an event listed called Autumn Advantage on LinkedIn and on Facebook. You can also reach out to me, Helen Harwood Snell, where this is going live. You can reach out to Diana and get more information, and a link on that. Registration is through an Eventbrite link.
Awesome.
So thank you all for tuning in today. Thanks, Diana. Have a great weekend.